What's up, everyone, and welcome to the Operation Grim Sky full reveal. My name is Justin Kruger, community developer on Rainbow Six Siege, and today we are about to go over all the details of our two new operators, Maverick and Clash. And we have a new rework in the works coming to you very soon, the rework of Hereford. And to help me break down all of these details, please welcome our two panelists, Jeremy Dowsett, level designer, and Emilian Lomé, game designer. How you guys doing?
I'm doing good, man. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. These events have been amazing. The games have been amazing. Emilian, how's your event been so far?
That week has been incredible. It's insane to see the crowd, to see the team at the level they have. It's fantastic. Such a good time.
The crowd has been incredible this entire event. They've been going crazy, and I know they cannot wait to get into some of this content that we got coming up. And so let's get right into it. Without further ado, let's take a look at Hereford Base, our reworked Hereford Base. Jeremy, let's, for those people that don't know what a rework is, what exactly is a rework?
A rework is an opportunity for the team to go through and look at legacy maps that we've built. And in this case, Hereford was the first map that we actually built and prototyped the game on. And look at the problems and rework it from the start. You know, in this case, it's a brand new map. If you look at the old Hereford now that's up on the screen and look at the new Hereford, we've completely redone it from the ground up.
Completely redone it, so it's way different than what we've introduced last season with the map buff. This is a new map, bottom line. I mean, it's a little familiar, but it's really new.
Players that know Siege and know the game will recognize it. They'll recognize the thematics, the Spitfires, the control tower, and the shooting range, but the inside is, you know, it's a slightly bigger floor plan than it was before, with more rotation options and more verticality. So we've gone through and made a brand new map for the community.
Right, and so you mentioned some of the issues with the old Hereford base. What were some of those issues, and why did you need to fix them for this map? Obviously, it's a little bit old now. It was the first map ever made, but now you're going in and changing the guts of it.
Basically, the problem with the old Hereford was the destruction needed to be updated, and also that there was only one really viable bomb site, which was down in the basement. So, you know, when you're playing a game and it's always the same bomb site, and the other bomb sites don't get used, it's no fun to play. So what we've done now is 4 bomb sites, more stairs, more verticality, more destruction, and just made it so it's actually a much more viable and much more fun map to play.
As a level designer, do you feel as though that's one of the biggest challenges and most important aspects of your job, to see that variety in bomb site selection in order to have a balanced map?
You have to make sure that bomb sites are completely viable. You don't want one that's slightly overpowered, because then once it goes ranked or pro, they'll always pick that bomb site, you know, but now they have to play all the bomb sites. But the real thing is, you want viable bomb sites, you want variety in the map, and you do really want it to be balanced and to play well as much as humanly possible.
Yeah, and a really key thing that we were talking about last time you were up here in May at the Atlantic City Finals was rotations. And for Villa, rotations were integrated into that from the beginning, but the old Hereford had some issues with rotations. And what have you guys done to resolve some of that? You mentioned the stairs as well, but tell us a little bit about that.
Well, the problem when you look at it from a single staircase map is there's no viability of rotation. So we've added a second set of stairs that go all the way up, all the way down, which allows for greater rotation. Then you add the traps, and then you add the balconies on the outside. It allows the attackers and the defenders to rotate really quickly, depending on how they want to play the bomb sites.
Yeah, and I want to point out really quickly, we're going to get into all of those bomb sites in just a moment, but I wanted to point out the design, the art design. You and your team and the art team back in Montreal have done an incredible job at revamping this map.
The art team, again, have done an absolutely superb job. You know, it feels like Hereford. It doesn't feel like it's a completely alien space. It feels like Hereford. It looks like Hereford. It's got the same thematics, the same feel. Like, Max and the art team in Montreal did an absolutely superb job. Of course, it's England, so they made it rain, which kind of irks,
you feel insulted.
It irks me a little bit that it's raining. It doesn't rain in England all the time, but you know, it's Grim Sky. It's raining. You know, it fits really well with the operation.
Fits it. You feel the ambiance. You feel the environment. And I think, you know, I got tweeted at when we first revealed this this map. One of the tweets that I received was, you know, it feels as though as as though I imagined exactly how it would be in the books. So, you know, it's going back to a little bit of that thematics that we really wanted to introduce with Hereford. The old art style was a little bit gray all over the place. Hard to do a lot of call-outs on that as well. It impacted gameplay, and I think players will be pleasantly surprised when they enter into Hereford for the first time.
It's definitely not a problem anymore. The thematics are very strong, and it's great to hear that people feel that when they see this map now, they feel like it's come from the books. You know, that's what we strive to achieve at all times, is to go through and make it feel like a real living, breathing place, you know. And like I said, the art team did an amazing job on this, and I'm super proud to have worked on the map with the other designers.
Yeah, all right, so let's go into the spawns and into this building and break it down bomb site by bomb site, because I really want to get into the guts of this. But let's start with the spawn points. What has changed with the spawn points?
Nothing much has really changed with the spawn points. You've still got control tower, the shooting range, and the Spitfire courtyard. So that will feel very familiar to anyone that's played Hereford, and hopefully the entire community has. So nothing's really changed. The approaches have changed, because obviously the outside's completely changed, the inside's changed. The approaches have changed a little bit, but they're pretty well sheltered, and they're very good approach lines for.
So in terms of those approaches, you know, a lot of those elements, a lot of those objects that were there before have completely been redesigned.
Yes, everything's been redesigned.
Yeah, cool. All right, so let's get into the guts of this building. Jeremy, I know you're excited to break it down. We're going to be going floor by floor, starting with the third floor down all the way to the basement. So let's start with that third floor bomb sites, and we have ammo and tractor on the third floor. How you got a tractor on the third floor is beyond me, but, you know, break down the strategy for this.
Ammo and tractor is actually one of the bomb sites that we actually had the most trouble with. It wasn't very viable, and we had to rework it a few times. It's a very open space with not too much cover, so it does make it quite tricky to actually go through and defend. There's no direct access really to a bomb site, so as per usual, you have to commit to the bomb site to actually go through and be able to attack it, or, you know, attack it fully. It's really interesting because you're looking for the attackers to come from the balcony or from the two stairs that come up.
Yeah, and we're going to be taking a look at that entranceway in just a moment, but you know, that strategy of defending from the balcony, from the outside, from the top. How is that for you as a designer to really design that defense point?
It's actually really fun to design something like that, and there's a few little tips and tricks you can actually use as an attacker. Remember, there is a drone vent up on the roof, so if you need to drone that bomb site, or if you need to drone any bomb site, you can go top down or bottom up. But what makes this so fun is there's so many avenues for the attackers to come at you from the stairs or from the balcony, so you can feint out the defenders quite easily.
Yeah, from the stairs or even the roof. I feel like there's going to be a lot of external rotations on this map
I think
for this bomb site.
I think you're going to find a lot of people, if they need to rotate, they'll go up on the roof and come down and rappel on the other side for sure.
And now that balcony is really important as well. Talk to us a little bit about that balcony. Why is that there?
The balcony's there to allow another option for the attackers to actually come in, but to also have another avenue for defense, because if you've only got two sets of stairs and a couple of windows, it's not really enough for, you know, fun gameplay. But you throw that balcony into the mix, it really does mix it up, and it's a very, very tense bomb site to defend.
One of the words that you described this bomb site was absolute chaos.
It's so much fun. Even when we're playtesting it internally, like, you can hear the team screaming, like, just because sometimes you just get hit and you just don't expect to know where it's coming from, and it just comes from every side, and there's not much cover, and you're just running for hell. It's so much fun to play. I think the community is going to love this one.
And I mean, that's where we always start with on our maps. Our operators is fun, right?
Yeah.
So that's what you're trying to achieve here. All right, let's move on to the second floor. We have kids' room and master bedroom on the second floor. Let's take a look at these bomb sites here. Tell us a little bit about the strategy behind defending and attacking the second floor.
Kids' room, master bedroom is a really good area to go through and play. It's a very viable bomb site. It's an awful lot of fun. You see in the kids' bedroom, there's the bunk beds and there's the bomb right on the side, and it's really fun to try and defend the bomb. Like, if you got someone staying back and trying to hold the area, and there's a lot of options to actually extend your defense on this floor for sure.
Yeah, and you mentioned that verticality.
Yes.
And that verticality comes in play on the second floor really, really importantly because you have those hatches, you have those line of sight floors on both sides.
Yeah.
On the floors and the ceilings. So how are players are going to be defending against that verticality on this floor?
It's a tricky one. I haven't quite figured it out myself yet, but you'll generally find people there are areas that aren't actually destructible floor, and you'll find a lot of people will be rotating through those areas, knowing that they've actually got a little safe passage for a period of time. But you can get shot, like you said, from above or from below, so you're never really safe.
Yeah, I think that's one of the key things on this new rework is that verticality, and we'll see it throughout the map entirely on that third floor, on that second floor. And now let's move on to the first floor, where we have kitchen dining room. Tell us about the strategies that you'll see on kitchen dining room, and what has changed on the first floor, Jeremy?
Okay, what's changed on the first floor is there was that massive choke.
That massive hallway where you have the choke point at the entrance and the choke point at the stairs, and chaos in the middle. So is that still there?
No, that's not there anymore.
Okay.
We've the entire floor plan for the entire map has changed, but obviously you don't want choke points when you're designing a map, so we've taken as many of the choke points as you can actually out of the map. So the corridor's not straight. You've still got quite good line of sight. Playing with a mirror wall is actually really quite fun. Well, actually on all the bomb sites is really fun, but I find that playing a mirror on this site is really nice, and because you can destroy the walls between the two bomb sites, it allows for really fast rotations. But it is the ground floor, so you've also got the problem of you're defending the windows because the attackers can get to you really quickly, or they can just come through the basement up the stairs.
Yeah.
So it's one of those bomb sites that it's really fun to play, but you need to get your strats down really well to figure out what you're going to do, and communication is key.
Speaking of coming in through the basement, let's take a look at our basement map, or basement bomb sites, where we have brewery and fermentation room. Now, as a UK man yourself, I am very pleased to see that there's a brewery in the basement of Hereford.
Well, it's
only fitting.
It's the SAS. I'm sure the SAS drink a fair amount of beer. It's a great thematic. When it's cold and rainy outside, you want to drink some beer, right?
Exactly.
Basement's really fun. There's a couple of big objects for the fermentation tanks that are bulletproof. So you've got a long line where you can actually shoot through and go back and forth, which is really nice.
And one of the key things is we're taking a look at the tunnel right now, which is a new addition. Why did you add this tunnel? What is so key about this?
If you put a basement in the ground and you've only got two sets of stairs, it's not fun because you know exactly where the attackers are going to come from. They're going to come from the stairs. So you can't do that because it won't be fun, and then we'll have the same problem again with the original Hereford, which is they're only going to play the one viable bomb site because it's easy to defend.
Right.
You add the tunnel on the outside, and then you add the garage, which is off on the side as well. It allows the attackers to actually have more ways to actually enter the building, and it makes for a much more interesting defense as well.
Much more interesting defense and a much more interesting map because you have that access point and people can enter it, the attackers can enter it through the basement to attack the first floor, and they can use it as, of course, on that basement approach as well, but that becomes so crucial.
Of course, it's one of those things where, when you watch the pros players and you watch ranked level players play, you watch them droning a lot of the time, and this map allows for droning from the basement, so you can go through and check for the roamers, and it allows from roaming from the top as well, so you can actually come down with your drone from the roof, and you're in relative safety on the roof, and you're in relative safety outside when you're down by the basement as well. So it allows anyone that's playing a roaming game and a droning out game to actually allows them a lot of options for sure.
A lot of option, a lot of creativity, a lot of strategy that I'm sure we'll see once this hits the test server. But before we close out Hereford, what are some of the key takeaways that you want the community to know about?
The most important thing when you approach this map is remember it's a brand new map, but the two stairwells are definitely key. The drone vent on the roof and definitely the balcony on the side, because they're the three elements that are really going to allow players to actually get in and explore the map quickly and get to their objective fast.
Why did you feel it's so necessary to add that second stairwell?
It's mainly for navigation and flow. You know, when we design maps in Montreal, we look at navigation, flow, verticality, and viability of bomb sites. One set of stairs isn't enough for navigation and flow, and it doesn't allow for very good rotations. So obviously you need to add a second set of stairs. Now, when you've got two sets of stairs, you're essentially creating two choke points where you can get stopped quite quickly. So if you add the balcony as another option, you know, it allows people to run around and roam much easier. So it allows the verticality in the roaming game to be much stronger.
Yeah, and of course, as we also wrap up with the balcony becomes that amazing external approach for the attackers and a potential nightmare for the defenders as well.
I wouldn't say nightmare. I'd say it's kind of fun because when you get it right, it feels so good.
So good.
But when you're slightly off your game and you're not hitting your shots, yeah, it can lead to a world of pain very quickly. That's for sure.
The attackers can utilize that approach and get cut off or get a frag in the early game as they're picking off the defender in that area, guarding that area. They can really utilize that and take that to their advantage.
It's really interesting, and I'm really looking forward to seeing the way the strats come out and the way people play the game. I've been watching people in the free play area playing the map, and it's really interesting to see what they're doing on the map because it's beautiful.
I've heard incredible feedback from everybody that I've talked to here at Paris about the map, about the operators, and we'll get to the operators in just a moment. But that is your first look at Hereford Base. I'm so excited for players to discover that balcony, discover those stairs, discover the verticality, and fewer spawn peaks as well.
Oh, yeah.
Which I'm sure Amelia is very sad to hear.
Oh, there's definitely less spawn peaks for sure. Like, you know, we shut those down pretty early in production because, yeah, no one likes spawn peaks and no one likes to get killed at the spawn point. Oh,
Amelia loves spawn peaks. Let's be honest. He spawn peaks everyone. Well, that is your first look at Hereford Base, coming your way to the test server on Monday, August 20th. That's tomorrow. You'll get to play this tomorrow on the test server on PC. So without further ado, let's get into our operators. We have our two new operators, Maverick and Clash, and to introduce them, let's take a look at this quick video from Ubisoft News.
In Operation Grim Sky, things are heating up and getting electric as two new operators, one attacker and one defender, join Team Rainbow, where they'll put their training to the test on a completely reworked Hereford base. The gentleman quietly burning a hole through this reinforced wall is Maverick. A 1-armor, 3-speed operator, Maverick comes equipped with the Surrey Torch. Unlike Thermite and Hibana, who were able to make large holes in reinforced walls, Maverick is able to burn his way through barriers and create holes of various sizes. It'll take up nearly all of your torch's fuel to create a hole you can actually move through, but what Maverick excels at is cutting out small, sneaky windows, creating sightlines nearly anywhere. The Surrey Torch is able to melt just about anything, like breakable walls, reinforced walls, castle barricades, deployable shields, floor hatches, Maestro's evil eye, and even defending operators. This is one of the most dynamic gadgets around, capable of melting holes of many shapes and sizes in the defending team's reinforcements. Any attacker can take advantage of Maverick's handiwork, but with the new AR-1550 or the M4 assault rifle in hand, he does just fine on his own. Maverick's torch is handy for eliminating enemy gadgets as well. Play peekaboo with bandit batteries and mute jammers to clear the way for Thermite or Hibana, or just open a little door for Twitch's drone to roll through and take care of business. For bigger holes, you'll need a steady hand. Move across a wall too quickly and the torch won't have enough time to cut through. Too slowly and you'll waste your limited fuel supply. Aiming down sights will help you maintain a consistent speed while ensuring those crisp, clean cutouts. And while it's not completely silent, Maverick's torch is pretty quiet, opening up possibilities for stealth, subterfuge, and so many deadly new sightlines. Defenders will have to be extra vigilant against small breaches, but Maverick needs to stay sharp as well. The Surrey Torch isn't much of a weapon, and its 2-meter range leaves Maverick vulnerable while he's crafting his latest work of art. A quick call out from a defender could leave you vulnerable to a flanking attack, so be sure to deploy that claymore wisely. Or you could use it deviously, planting it by a small breach hole as a trap for careless enemies. With all these new holes appearing in your defenses, it's nice to have a defender who offers some extra protection. That defender is Clash, the first shield-bearing defender in Siege. Her indestructible CCE shield covers the entire front of her body and comes with a built-in taser that slows and damages enemies within range, making her a formidable obstacle. Her taser operates on a charge and will refill whenever it's not active. Mind your battery level, though. If you drain the shield's charge completely, you'll have to wait until it fully recharges to use it again. To whip out her sidearm weapons, Clash has to put her shield on her back, where it will still offer some protection, just like other shields do. She can certainly get a kill in a pinch, but her main focus is crowd control. As a former riot officer with the British MPS, Clash is no stranger to close quarters action. Slowing down the attack makes the clock work in your favor, while drawing your enemy's attention has the added benefit of making them more susceptible to flanking attacks from your teammates. And let's not forget one of the most powerful things a shield can do: block enemy fire. Has that pesky Maverick cut a hole into a reinforced wall and exposed your entire team? Plug it up with Clash. Sometimes physically blocking an enemy's progress is your best play, but don't be afraid to use your protection to your advantage. With 3 armor and 1 speed, Clash might seem like the furthest thing from a roamer, but her shield allows her to be in spaces where defenders normally fear to tread. Stroll outside for some early game scouting, and use your map knowledge to roam in areas where attackers can't easily get behind you. Your P10C or SPSMG sidearms mean enemies can't safely turn their back on you. But even with your shield up, you're not invincible. Thatcher can temporarily disable the taser with his EMP grenades. And Capitão's asphyxiating bolts can do serious damage to the slow-moving Clash, even with her shield equipped. Furthermore, Clash cannot melee with her shield. In fact, if an enemy manages to melee her, or if she gets hit with a concussion grenade from Zofia, she'll drop her guard momentarily and be partially exposed. But Clash is not one to be vulnerable for long, and getting through her stalwart defense will prove to be a tall order. Operation Grim Sky is set to seriously shake things up on both sides of the conflict. For more on Rainbow Six Siege, subscribe to our YouTube channel and be sure to check out news.ubisoft.com.
And there it is. That's your first look at Clash and Maverick. And now I'd like to bring in Emilien Lomé, game designer on Rainbow Six. How you doing, man?
I'm doing great, Justin. Thank you very much.
You're going to be breaking down all the design reasons behind these two operators. But let's first break down who they are. Let's get to know Clash. Clash, who is she?
Well, Clash is someone who believes to fight for the good cause. She puts team play above all else. She's resolute, she's sharp-witted, and she's a bit arrogant, but extremely loyal.
Arrogant but loyal. I like her already. So how does her gameplay play out? Obviously, we saw a little bit in that footage, but how did you design her?
So the idea was indeed to bring a shielded defense, which might seem and sound terrifying, and that makes a lot of sense.
Very scary.
But ever since we released Siege, we had 2.5 years of experience to try to pick what we liked from the shield gameplay and adapt that to the notion of shield in defense. And that was a long process, but we think we found something interesting.
So you took like what you liked the most from Montagne and what you liked the most from Blitz, sort of married them together in Clash a little bit, yeah.
Kind of that, and at the same time is like you have to both take what you like from the shield and also think it's a defense shield. It doesn't have to push the side, she just has to stand there and prevent them from pushing. So we focused the shield mostly on the defensive aspect, that was super key, on the team play aspect, but we remove a lot of elements of lethality.
Emilien, this is our first defense operator with a shield. Why are we introducing this now to the game?
Well, we definitely want to explore new areas of gameplay in every season, like as much as we can, and expand on things that already exist, but also bring some new things, new fun things to play around. Clash in our situation was mostly we need someone who can bring a new way to play as a team, and definitely since she is very low lethality, she really needs her teammate to do the job with her. She needs to communicate a lot, and that's what we like about Clash.
So you would describe her more as like a team play operator than anything else, right?
Yes, definitely, above all else.
Above all else, why is she so good at creating in team play situations?
Well, we do believe that even though she's 3 armor and 1 speed, and she's carrying a shield, so she's fairly slow, but the way we see her play, at least in the early round, is to move around the bomb site, move around the map, and collect information, because she's so resilient that she can access places that others cannot. However, if she gets too far away from her teammate, since she's not capable really to defend herself that well, she will be very, very weak with the enemy team. So she needs at the same time to be very well aware of the position of the enemy and her teammate.
Right, so because she has low lethality, she needs a little bit of backup, a little bit of support before she pulls out her weapons. And I mean, looking at her, she really is strong at gathering that intel, as you mentioned. Would you sort of describe her as like a roaming anchor? Is that something you would say?
It's kind of accurate, yeah. I would say it's like this 2-stage in the round where you would be like this roaming or support roamer during the first part of the round, relaying information a lot, moving a lot, gathering information, and then maybe come back to site in the second half to try to use a shield, the taser shield, that will slow down your enemies to prevent the push and prevent the enemy from planting the diffuser and accessing the objective.
Yeah, the taser is really one of the key elements of her gadget. It keeps players at bay, it keeps them at distance. Is that really important for Clash?
Yes, it's really key because, like I said, contrary to other shield, every shield we have, especially Blitz, but also even Montaigne or even Hughes, they want to close the gap to you. Their long range are not that effective, but they want to close the gap. They want to get to your face. However, Clash is the exact opposite. She's a shield in defense, so you need to think this the other way around. She will do everything in her power to prevent you from making to close range, because she's extremely weak at close range. She will try to do the exact opposite, and new player that will discover Clash after playing other shields will need to get that in mind as well. When they see Clash, do not run away. Try to close the gap.
Try to rush her, try and close that gap in order to get that melee off so that you can have that semi-guard break. Now, you mentioned, circling back a little bit, you mentioned team play. That is one of the key aspects of Clash. How do you think she's going to fare in competitive play here?
I'm very curious about that. To be honest, it's always extremely difficult to plan what's going to happen in Pro League. Since she requires a lot of team play, I do expect to see her. It's a big sacrifice to bring Clash with you, because you do not lose the gun entirely, but almost. And if you do that, you need to make the most out of her capability, and that implies a lot of team play. So I do see her being used there as roaming, supporting the roamers, preventing access to the site, playing the time a lot, which is the most important resource in the game.
Potentially that's where she's going to shine the most, because you are going to have that communication, that coordination between players, and have structured strategies around Clash where she's not only defending and blocking a site push, but she can push outside the map a little bit and gather that intel to the team, and then also provide a little strategy of maybe having a defender behind her in order to see through the shield, because that shield is see-through. That's the first see-through shield we're introducing. Why do you think that's so key to Clash?
Well, the see-through aspect of the shield is really interesting. It gives the defender, it's not like a mirror in the sense that you see through both ways, but still it kind of is this movable mirror that you can move through the map with the Jaeger behind and get some kills. So this is the first aspect. Second aspect is a very big shield, and it's terrifying. The psychological effect of seeing Clash will refocus the attention of the attacking team on them. And this is where team play comes back here, because as soon as the attention is focused on you, now is the time for Ela and Jaeger and anyone free speed around to get the kills against the attacking team.
Right, get that kills from behind her as a, she seems like a really good, solid support character. Low lethality, but she still has guns, right? This is still Rainbow Six Siege. Let's take a look at her loadout. What is she packing?
So yeah, her primary weapon is the shield, and she cannot have a sidearm with that shield. It's a big shield, and you cannot have your sidearm with it. But
so in the same way that like Blitz and Montaigne have their primary as as their shield.
Yes, but they have their sidearm with the shield.
Right.
She cannot.
She can't.
But if she plays the shield in her back, she can access her sidearms, which are both great weapons. We have a handgun, and the first burst fire weapon of the game, 2 bullets. Both of them come equipped with embedded sights, and really good sight, by the way. They will never be as powerful as an SMG, but they can do the job if you're like the last survivor, or if the enemy team realizing that you're not the threat, look away.
Yeah.
Now is your turn to shine.
In a pinch, when you really need to just get a kill, she can pull those out.
Yeah.
Now let's go on to her secondary gadgets as well, because she has a few very useful ones.
Yes, the secondary gadgets are definitely tailored to fit the 2 roles we mentioned. There's this first part of the round where you move around, and then you have the impact grenade that allows you to create holes in your defense to have your defenders run around, or even if you are supported by a runner, make those rotation on a pinch.
Yeah.
Second gadgets, more the second part of the round. If you want to prevent the push, you have the barbed wire, which would increase your ability to prevent the enemy from pushing the bombs.
That's a really deadly combination there with the barbed wire plus the shock.
Yes.
That's going to be tough to counter. Speaking of the counters, though, she is counterable. She does have weaknesses. A lot of people came up to me when they first saw Clash. They were like, you know, I think shields are OP. I think they are unbalanced. So how have you balanced Clash?
Well, she has, like, again, we had a learning in these 2.5 years of having Blitz running around and all, and now we think that we found some ways to have Clash being very interesting to play, but also not as frustrating to play against, and most of those counter comes from that. She cannot melee you at short range. That's not possible for her. So, but you can. You will trigger this semi-guard break that will move the shield to the side and allow you to shoot her legs. However, that means you need to get to close range. To do that, you can use Thatcher. Because Thatcher's EMP will disable the shield and allow you to bypass the taser part of the shield.
Yeah, and we also saw Zofia, and we also saw Capitao as counters. Who do you think is the most, the strongest counter against Clash?
Capitao is definitely the strongest. She's slow, she has a shield on top of that, and the Firebolt, if you place it right, you will kill Clash very fast. Capitao is definitely very strong against Clash, but Thatcher and Zofia can do a pretty good job.
Yeah, absolutely. So, that is a look at Clash coming your way to the test server very shortly, but let's also take a look at her BDUs that are coming with the launch of Grim Sky. Of course, these BDUs are available with the Year 3 Season Pass. This is a head-to-toe customization, and they look really cool. They're sort of Grim Sky themed and Grim Sky colored, so it's super cool. Her art design is wonderful as well.
I love her. She's very beautiful. She's
really cool.
Amazingly badass.
Yeah, so you'll be able to play her tomorrow. Another person that you'll be able to play is Maverick. Let's go into Maverick. Who is Maverick, Emilian?
Well, Maverick is an enigma within Siege. And within the Team Rainbow, he's solitary. He's very good at reading human mind, though, but it's difficult to know a lot about him. He's very famous for his precise work, though, and his high adaptability. But outside of that, stay as an enigma.
He's an enigma of a man, an enigma with his gadget, because that gadget is so cool. How does his gameplay designed from your side?
So yeah, the design there was we wanted to bring a third hand breacher to the meta. That was key, but we wanted to make sure that it was very different from Thermite and Hibana, and that was a big challenge. And we came up with this idea that allows Maverick to do a very different role than those two.
Yeah. So why, as a designer, as a game designer on Rainbow Six Siege, was it important for you guys to introduce a third hard breacher? Why is that important?
There is multiple aspects to this question. One of them, for competitive play, is we introduced pick and ban recently, and despite the fact that they can ban both hard breacher and it rarely happens, we still want to make sure that we have 3 options. That's the one thing. Second thing, even more important to us, is the metal breaching role is a very key role in Siege, and people that play that role have limited options, just 2. And we needed a third one to give them a new aspect of how to approach a bomb site. And third on bomb site, Maverick will be extremely relevant contrary to the other 2, or in combination with the other 2.
His gadget is so much different from them, where Hibana and Thermite have this really binary. It's either open or closed. Maverick has a lot of creativity. What are some of the strategies that you've seen in your play sessions?
Well, in practice, we introduced Maverick as a hard breacher. That was the key. But what we see in the gameplay, and it's very true, is he stands between hard breacher and disabler. You have Twitch, Thatcher, Thermite, Hibana, and he's somewhere between the 2. Because you can bring him as your main hard breacher and try to make small holes, or you can bring him with Thermite to destroy the bandit battery, the new jammers, and you can use him with this specific role.
Yeah. And obviously, he is an alternative to like a Hibana and Thermite. but he has a lot of those synergies.
Yes.
And I think we're going to see a lot of that gameplay as well, where people are using either a Thermite to distract or again, and the Maverick would then flank around and maybe create a couple of kill holes. Is that something that you are expecting players
Definitely.
to find?
That would be, if you don't use him necessarily as a man butcher, which should be rare,
Yeah.
or as a disabler, you have this third option. He's 3 speed, he's fast, and his gadget is fairly silent. So you can just run around and make some tiny holes in the defense beyond them. And when they're watching Thermite blowing up the wall, they're watching the other way, and then you can get some pretty sneaky kills.
Yeah, again, for a competitive play, how do you think he's going to play?
It's really, again, super tricky, and since he's so creative in his ability to make whatever he wants, I'm really curious to see what they're going to do. He doesn't have a lot of resources in his gadgets, so he's never going to replace Thermite or even Ibana, but it's a very new role in the bridging meta, and we're going to see a lot of interesting things with Maverick.
Yeah, a lot of interesting things, a lot of creativity, and let's take a look at his loadout as well. His loadout's pretty powerful, would you say?
Yeah, fairly potent. It's a classic for an attacker, I would say.
Yeah.
We have a semi-automatic DMR, and we have an assault rifle. Those two very good weapons, and the sound design of those weapons are amazing. 3 armor, 3 speed, 1 armor, so very fast. And he has a handgun with that. But the most important and interesting thing about Maverick and his loadout, secondary gadgets.
Secondary gadgets. Tell us a little bit about his secondary gadgets. What are they?
So the secondary gadgets are very important for him. He has 2, Claymore and Smoke. This is 2 very different approaches to Maverick. The Smoke is, since he's a very potent hard breacher, since he cannot really be countered by Mute and Bandit, he needs drawback. And the drawback is it takes time, a lot of time to make your holes. You're exposed, you're very close to the wall. The enemy team see the torch through the wall, so they can challenge you and try to kill you. So it's very tricky as a Maverick to trying to find a hole if the enemy team is aware. But you can use your smoke grenade. You make a tiny hole, toss a smoke grenade, hide most of it, and then you can finish the job.
Or you can have someone peeking that hole, or like a glass peeking through the smoke.
Yeah, a Blackbeard at the hole.
A lot of options. Oh man, a Blackbeard. I didn't even think of that. That would be really key. I mean, and also, I mean, he's great counter against Mira as well, as we saw in that trailer where you can have a Twitch drone roll in and pop open those mirror holes. Those have become so important. I mean, we see Mira as like almost 100% pick rate or ban rate as well. Yeah.
Those bottom holes at the bottom of the wall are also very key. You can have a drone go there, so Twitch drone, for example, and deal with the Mira. But this is where the second gadget comes into play. You can place the Claymore mine there and create some insanely sneaky traps.
Insanely sneaky traps. And now let's move on to his counters. How do you stop him?
Well, there is, again, since he's somewhere between Disabler and Metal Breacher, he's not in the same counter loop as Ibana and Thermite, obviously. However, removing this counter meant we had to think of a lot of drawbacks, and as we mentioned, you need to be very close to the wall, the enemy team knows you're there, and you're very slow, and the holes appears as you go. So anyone that just peeked the hole can shoot you. Anyone that tosses C4 through the hole, they know you're like 1.5 meters behind it, so you're gonna die with that. Either you need to sneak and do this discreetly, or you need teammate to cover you.
Now, Emilian, we're introducing an operator that doesn't have a counter directly from another gadget. There's no bandit, no mute counter. Don't you think it's a little silly that the counter against him is just shooting him in the head?
Well, that's the main counter against anyone, to be honest. But I understand the concern. I just encourage the player to play it and see how it goes, in the sense that we were very careful about implementing drawbacks to this powerful gadget.
So the drawbacks, the main one being that you can immediately see him once he makes his holes, and so it's a little bit difficult to pull off some of those.
And he doesn't have enough resources anyway to make holes as big as Thermite would do, even Dana. So it will be, you can have enough resource to make something you can go through, but it would use most of it, and it will never be this big hole where Montaigne can push from you.
Right, you can't create that huge hole for him.
Nope.
Great, so that is a look at Maverick. Now let's take a look at his BDUs as well that are coming with the launch of Grim Sky. Once again, these are head-to-toe BDUs, customization items that will be day one once Grim Sky launches, and you can get them with the Year 3 Season Pass. So, that is a look at Clash and Maverick coming your way to the test server on Monday, August 20th, tomorrow, which is really exciting. Amelia, before we move on to our next segment with breaking down some features that are also coming in Grim Sky, how would you describe Clash and Maverick in just a few words, just to wrap it up?
Well, Well, that's easy actually, because Clash, I use the word a lot, and this is key, and I'm saying it again, team play. Team play, team play, team play. And Maverick, considering the way the gadget function, creativity.
Creativity. I cannot wait to see what the players are going to come up with, because they're always smarter than us. They find strategies way better than what we do.
And there are 35 million.
And there's 35 million of them as well who are coming up with strategies. It's really incredible. I cannot wait for you guys to test out Clash and Maverick. But there's also a lot more coming with Grim Sky, and let's break down some of those features right now. The first one being the weapon sight misalignment fix that we covered this in a blog post earlier, but what exactly are we fixing with this weapon sight misalignment?
Well, without going into too many details here, it's a fix we've been working on for a very, very long time, and we're very happy that it gets into the game now. Basically, oftentimes when you shoot with a weapon, the middle of your screen and the scope would not be aligned, and sometimes you would feel like, I shot the head, but no, the scope was on the head, but not the middle of the screen, so the bullet missed. Now it's no longer the case. Every single moment in the rate of fire of your weapon, the center of the screen is aligned with the fucking weapon.
The people are happy.
The people are happy, Emilian. The people have spoken.
Yeah, finally. We're very happy about that.
Yeah. So bottom line, though, the bullet will go where your reticle is pointing.
Yes, that's this key part. It's like usually that would not happen all the time, and now it will be 100% the case.
Yeah, and I got to ask, this seems like a very important fix that we're introducing. Why did it take so long?
It's tricky. The problem is, like, when we see that for the first time, like more than a year ago, we think, okay, let's try to find an easy fix to that. But there was none, and every fix we had to investigate meant going deep down into the systems we have in place in the core aspect of the game, and it was much more heavy and long than we had expected, and it took a lot of time. We iterate also, we tried a few things that not necessarily worked. This version we're very proud of, and we're confident it will function.
We saw a ton of recoil patterns on the test servers, so this definitely took a process. But it's finally coming with Grim Sky.
Yes, finally.
Yeah, also coming with Grim Sky is the new idle pick. So streamers no longer have to play as Recruit when they run away to the bathroom or are getting another drink or whatever. I always see that on stream, and I'm really excited about this change where it'll automatically select a random operator once if you don't select an operator. So
yes,
that's it's the comfort of life, quality of life. Pick.
It happened to every one of us.
Yeah.
It happened always, and that's really comfortable. The interesting aspect of that is it came from a different feature. It came because we needed that for pick and ban, because there is no recruit in pick and ban. And playing pick and ban, you're like, yeah, but that's cool. Let's just bring this right away into rank and casual in the rest of the game. So this is how like those big features that I might have meant for different purposes end up just joining the rest of the game.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, we have the map rework, but we also have a map buff as well. Jeremy, tell us about the map buff.
Well, everyone knows and loves Consulate, right?
Oh, we all love it.
Well, we've gone through and we've reworked Consulate. You'll see the before and afters here. We've gone through, redone the art. We've gone through, added another bomb site to the map, and we've gone through and looked at the most important thing, which was the early kills and the spawn peaks, and it looks absolutely amazing.
Yeah, the crowd is reacting right now. What do you think? Why do you think it was really important to do these tweaks, these map buffs?
Oh, they really do like the map.
They do like it.
The importance of doing it was the main thing was adding a fourth bomb, so it makes...
Let them clap. They're clapping away. They're cheering. Man.
No, our team in Montreal should be super proud because they did a superb job yet again. But adding a fourth bomb into the map was actually one of the key things we wanted to do, because 4 bombs equals more fun. It also makes the map an awful lot more viable for ranked and pro play.
Yeah, it was removed from competitive play, and this is one of the reasons why. Or was it? Maybe? I don't know. Well, I know a lot of people have been complaining about it because of some of these issues that you're fixing, but
one of the aspects we had in mind as well when we released Pick and Ban is we introduced a rotation to 3 bomb sites, and we removed map that didn't have a 4th one.
Right.
However, Consulate was too good to be removed, and those guys just catch our own problem with very well. And now we have 4 bomb sites.
There you go.
So we added a 4th bomb site to make it more viable and more competitive. So now it's super fun.
Now it's better.
It's prettier. A few things have moved around a little bit, but it's, you know, it's like a comfy pair of slippers. You're like, don't be scared. It's still the same map. It's perfectly fine, but it plays better, it looks better, and it's absolutely superb.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, another feature that we just introduced because of Maverick is the new Hatch Destruction rework. Millian, tell us a little bit about why you guys introduced this.
Well, that's also a thing we had in mind a very long time ago. When we released Hibana, it felt not right that Hatch was binary, that Hatch would be destroyed or not, and that's it. So what we wanted to do for a while, and that now Maverick allows us to do, is this semi-destruction. That means that if you want to destroy a hatch with Thermite, no problem, always work.
Thermite will always blow the hatch, but Hibana, you'll need
6 pellets, exactly. You need your 6 pellets. It doesn't sound like a big difference, but if a roamer is around and gets a few shots on your pellets, then you need to use another of your resources to get the hatch done.
Yeah, or you can have Maverick come by and finish the job.
Exactly.
Right?
Maverick can come by and finish the job. If it deals enough damage to the hatch, it will be destroyed also. So he can deal with hatch as well, but he can also make those sneaky holes and kill people below.
Now we've outlined a lot of these features on our blog, rainbow6.com. We also have a ton more coming with Grim Sky, including two-factor authentication for ranked. We want you guys to protect your accounts, protect those accounts from hackers. So activate two-factor authentication on your accounts. We also have R6 Fix, where you can go and report bugs, report any issues. But we have one more surprise for you, and that is the Elite skin. We have the Frost Elite skin coming with Operation Grim Sky. And here you're taking a look at Frost Elite. Of course, the Elite skins are premium skin that are available with a full head-to-toe redesign of the character, plus a weapon skin, a charm, and that awesome victory screen animation. I'm so pumped for players to try that out. And of course, Operation Grim Sky launches tomorrow on the test server, Monday, August 20th. You'll be able to play it. You'll be able to play Clash, Maverick, the new map rework for Hereford. You'll be able to play the new buff for Consulate. I'm so excited, and thank you guys so much for joining me. Jeremy, Emilian, thank you guys so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Justin.
Yeah,
That's great.
absolutely.
Thank you everyone around playing Siege around the world, and thank you everyone in this amazing room. It's fantastic.
It's
and
an
on stream and
incredible
everywhere.
celebration of Siege, but do not touch that browser. We have a ton more content coming up for you. We have EG versus G2, but first, we have a live performance right after this.